What is going on, everybody? I'm Des, and welcome to the first episode of the Apple Watch Series 3 review, coming from the perspective of a longtime Garmin owner. I've now been using the Apple Watch Series 3 alongside the Fenix 5X, which has been my daily driver pretty much all year, as well as the Vivo Active 3 that I'm also testing currently, and wanted to share my impressions from the first 3 days. If you haven't seen the unboxing, you can check out the episode right here, I think. So my first 3 days with the Apple Watch has been a polarizing experience. I'm going to call this episode the honeymoon. So with pretty much any Apple device, it's absolutely stunning. And at the $330 price point for the base GPS model without LTE, you'll actually feel like you're getting a great value from Apple, something that is questionable with other Apple products. In terms of the hardware, comparing it to the Vivo Active 3, honestly, it kind of blows it out of the water. I'm not saying that the Vivo Active 3 is poorly built by any means, but the Apple Watch just feels a little bit more premium. Every edge is refined, the curves are gorgeous, even though it has the quite unique and distinctive Apple design, which is either a love or hate sort of thing. I wasn't necessarily a fan before, but I've come to not mind it at all, and the unique design lends to its usability. Sure, I prefer round watches, but for the most screen real estate, especially for a touchscreen device, a square or rectangular design is going to be ideal. This is pretty apparent when comparing it with the Vivo Active 3, which cuts off certain information on certain screens. So if I could choose only between rectangular watch designs, this would definitely be the one I'd pick. Using the Apple Watch 3 is, unsurprisingly, a very pleasurable experience from the smartwatch perspective. Regardless of what you think of Apple, you just can't deny that they pretty much have the best usability in the market, even with its limited customization compared to Android and Garmin devices. Such as the fact that you only have 3 brightness levels, which just seems a little bit odd considering the screen is crazy bright even at its lowest setting. So as a smartwatch, gosh, I mean seriously, if you're an iPhone owner, it's really quite a seamless and amazing experience. The ability to have messages, calls, Siri, and a fairly generous amount of available apps, it's just kind of the only option if you have an iPhone and want a smartwatch. It is just so darn good, and coming from a Garmin device, it is just so much more in regards to a smartwatch. Now, I'm definitely going to give Garmin the benefit of the doubt because Apple just kind of has a huge unfair advantage because they make both devices. But that's kind of where the honeymoon ends. First, battery life is a huge shock coming from a Garmin owner's perspective. I only have to charge my Fenix 5X every 5 days or so while using GPS an average of 1.5 to 2 hours per day, mainly for cycling. With the Apple Watch, I had a full charge at 8 a.m., went for about a 2-hour bike ride at lunch, and had about 77% left. At the end of the day, I had 42% left, and the next morning I was at 20%. So that's 2 hours of GPS with no LTE. I wasn't expecting anything close to Garmin, but I was a little bit taken back. For sports and activities, so far I'm left a little bit perplexed and underwhelmed with the built-in workout and activities. And to be perfectly fair, I knew this going in just based on other people's observations, but I had to give it a try out myself just to formulate an objective opinion. So far, there are many things confusing to me about the Apple Watch from an athlete's perspective. Can you not view your past activity data on the watch itself? It gives you a summary at the end of the workout, but I cannot for the life of me find out how to view your activity data on the watch itself and can only see the data on the activity app on the iPhone. You can view your heart rate for past activities from the heart rate app, but unless I'm totally missing something, you can't view past activity details on the watch. If I'm missing something here, please educate me on this and ridicule me as much as possible. Usability of activities is a bit confusing, such as if you click on a workout, it just starts. Personally, I like the Garmin system of how you select a workout and then it has the interstitial page where it shows GPS and heart rate status, allowing for a moment before you actually start. But that's probably just a personal preference. Also, when you're in an activity, this is probably the primary example of why I do not like touchscreens for sports devices. There's no simple way of starting and stopping an activity without swiping through one screen first. This is where physical buttons win, because if you're sweating away during a hard workout and need to pause it, the last thing you want to do is have to think and have to navigate to a screen, so just having a physical button where you do not have to look at your watch is simply a little bit more usable. I'm still contemplating how this could be better while still retaining the predictable behavior of the dial and home button, but so far I haven't come up with anything. Also, so much more information could be displayed on the screen, especially with the dial capabilities, whereas it only shows a fairly limited set of fields. You're only allowed to display 5 fields, period. Yes, that's more than what you can display on a Vivo Active 3 with the stock data fields on one screen, but you at least have the capability of having more than one data screen, unlike the Apple Watch. With that being said, the dial is severely being underutilized during activities where it only just highlights the fields, which is neat, but how about just display a lot more fields that you can scroll through with the dial? So I think this decision was kind of weird. Lastly, it's astonishing to me that they simply do not allow for exporting or sharing with data with Strava. There's just simply no way Apple's going to catch up with the adoption of Strava, and trying to force people into their own little system is only going to drive people away. However, there are some things that I really do like though, like the fact that they separate out active versus total calories, something that can be a little bit confusing on other platforms. Double tapping for laps or segments, as Apple likes to call them, as well as the extremely convenient way to switch between activities and start a new one. This is actually a hard to find feature in the Forerunner 935 and Phoenix models that many people do not know about, as well as being a feature that only comes on higher end multi-sport Garmin wearables. But like I said, those are the experiences using the built-in workout, activities, apps, features, functions that are stock on the Apple Watch. I've already been testing the Nike Run Club app, Strava, iSmooth Run, as well as some others, so hopefully those can provide a little bit more robust workout experience as well as the associated data. One of the following episodes in this review series will go through the activities in a lot of detail, just like my other reviews with both the built-in workouts as well as the third-party apps. So subscribe to the channel to get a notification when that video comes out. So I may be foreshadowing here, but so far I'm a little bit disappointed that Apple did not take the opportunity with the Series 3 to snag some of that Garmin audience. I didn't exactly go in with huge expectations, but so far I'm a little bit underwhelmed. So at this point, I love both my Fenix 5X as well as my Apple Watch. So basically, I kind of have to look like a complete tool wearing two different watches at the exact same time because each one does what it does very well, but this is obviously just not realistic. So I'm only 3 days in at this point, and honestly, I'm positively loving the smartwatch experience. So I hope I can make this thing work a little bit better and give it a better score for sports once I explore some of the third-party apps that could provide a little bit more robust experience. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.